Hey everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. Been getting a lot of requests for some more ideas in the rhythm department. A lot of people kind of get sick of just playing chords and want to know what else they can do. So I'm going to show you two different things that you can do using some shapes that you already know to really enhance your playing here. One is to use the E shape, the E shape that we learned down in first position, so you can do something like this. And the other thing I want to show you how to do is to take the A shape and do some really cool stuff up and down the neck. So something like this. So I'm going to show you how to do all of that in this lesson. Make sure you go to www.activemelody.com if you want more lessons like this. But let's take a look at what we're going to learn. Okay, so we're going to go through some different chord rhythm variations that we can play using some simple first position shapes. Now I'm going to start with the E chord. There's a lot you can do with the E chord. And it's pretty simple to do. Really, all I'm doing, if you don't know the E, by the way, real quickly, I'm taking my middle finger and I'm pushing down on the 5th string, 2nd fret, ring finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and my pointer finger goes down on the 1st fret, 3rd string. And we play all 6 strings. That's the E chord. And so this is what I mean by the E shape. Once you're familiar with that shape, you can slide, if you take that same shape, you can slide it up so that these two fingers are now, so that your middle finger and ring finger are now on the 7th fret. You get, it's really an A chord, but you get this kind of cool variation where you've got some open strings ringing out. It's kind of a different way to play an A. It's different than the way you might think of playing an A. You can also take that same shape, slide it up 2 more frets, so that your middle finger and ring finger are now on the 9th fret, and you have essentially what is a B chord. Obviously you can hear there's some strings that are ringing out that kind of clash with that chord a little bit, but it's cool. It's kind of, those are considered drone strings. It gives it a really nice effect. So you can get this real pretty sound. Just sliding back and forth between those 3 places. Your left hand really stays locked down. You're not making different chords. It's really, really easy to do. It sounds great on an acoustic guitar, great on an electric guitar. But that's just a different variation of how you might play. Just instead of playing standard 12-bar blues with with E, A, and a B, you might think of doing something that's a little more melodic that way. And you can make your own songs up with it. Another thing you can do that sounds nice is when you get up here, you can take your pinky and push it down. This creates kind of a sus chord. You can push it down. So I'm on the 9th fret, 3rd string. So you get that note. Hear what it's doing there? So my pinky's just pushing down right there on the 3rd string on the 9th fret. So that, if you think of that, then you can go. And so you can start doing some, it just introduces another element to that to make it sound nice. Now, another thing that I like to do that's kind of a weird chord is to take the same pattern but move it up 1 position from where it is when you play a normal E. So just slide everything up 1 and you get this. It's kind of like an F chord in a way, but not really. It's this kind of weird, I don't really know what the name of that chord is, but it's this real nice clash sounding chord. So if you want to end something, you could I think John Mayer uses that chord in one of his popular songs. But really cool sounding chord. I don't know what you call it, but I like it. So those are some different variations you can do with E. Now here's something else you can do. It just kind of occurred to me. You can take this. You know when you think of your typical you know Mexican sounding guitar where you get that kind of thing. All I'm doing, I'm taking that same E. I'm going to that weird, where I slid up one, that weird F. Then I come up here, and so that my middle finger and ring finger are on the 5th fret. Back to the middle finger, ring finger being on the 3rd fret, and then back to the E. So your strum pattern, you could, if you can get that going, where you're going down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. So get some real cool Mexican sounding, guitar. And I think typically when you hear that, it's played a lot faster. Something like that, but that's just a practice thing. And all I'm doing with my right hand, again, is just down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. And I like to practice when I'm doing a rhythm. I like to practice just muting the strings so you don't annoy yourself or anyone else that's around, and just practice. The guitar is kind of a percussive thing. It's almost like a washboard sound. And that's all I'm doing for that. In fact, that's pretty much what I was doing for the other. You could also, just another variation, you could pick the notes apart. You don't have to strum them. You could you could get very creative with it. But anyway, it just kind of goes to show you what you can do by taking a simple shape and moving it up and down the neck. All right, so the second rhythm pattern that I showed in the beginning was something that sounded like this. And some variations on that. It's very cool, something that's used a lot by a lot of different artists. And it's something that sounds really good if you're playing guitar by yourself because it's very full. There's a lot of strings that are ringing out open, and if you're playing this, by yourself with an acoustic guitar, it sounds fantastic. It sounds great with an electric. Either way, you can sound like you're doing a lot with that. And so the way I'm going to teach you this is there's really two patterns here. We're going to learn an A pattern and a B pattern. So the A pattern is it's really just an A7th. But what I'm doing, there's one way to play an A7th. This is the 2nd fret. I'm using my 2 fingers. I'm using my ring finger, middle finger. Ring finger goes down on the 2nd fret, 2nd string. Middle finger goes down on the 2nd fret, 4th string. So we skip the 3rd. And that's all I'm doing. I'm using those two. This is pattern A, this shape. And so the way I'm going to play it is I'm going to play 5 strings. I'm not going to play the low E string or the 6th string. I'm only going to play strings 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And so pattern A is this. Now pattern B looks like this. And what I do is I just switch into this position. Notice how simple this is. Notice my middle finger never actually leaves the fretboard. All that's happening is my ring finger comes up and my pointer finger goes down. And so what we're doing for pattern B is, at least in this example, my pointer finger is on the 3rd fret, 2nd string, and my middle finger now is on the 4th string, 4th fret. So it looks like that. And those are the only 2 fingers that are down. So we went from this position, A, to this position, B. And what you're going to want to do, and here's what it should sound like. And again, we're only playing strings 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And when you hear that, it almost sounds wrong. It sounds like there's some clashes in there, and there's a little bit of that, but it's okay. It's really cool sounding. So what you're going to want to do in the beginning is practice going between pattern A and B, and just watch what my fingers are doing there. Notice the important thing is my middle finger never leaves. It just stays down. The only things that are happening is my ring finger and pointer finger are switching places, so to speak. But the middle finger just sort of stays down. Okay, so now that we have pattern A and pattern B, that's all there is to this whole thing. And it's just a variation of pattern A and pattern B up and down the neck. Now, and I don't want you to memorize exactly what I did, even though I guess in the beginning that's probably the best way to teach it. But I want you to understand the different spots where you can play an A and a B so that you can come up with your own melodies and even write your own songs with this. So the first thing to show is that, and so that's just pattern A and pattern B. Then I come up here and go, and all I did there was I went back to pattern A, this time on the 12th fret, so both fingers are on the 12th fret, okay? And then I slid down to pattern B this time so that my middle finger is on the 11th fret, and my pointer finger is on the 10th fret. But it's the same strings, so it's strings 2 and 4. So you can see we switch places from here to here. Again, the middle finger never leaves. It always kind of stays down. So no matter if you're here, 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 or here, that middle finger is kind of your anchor. And it also allows you to hear how it kind of slid into place. And by the way, I just made this rhythm up right before, as the camera started rolling. So there's all kinds of ways you can do a rhythm, but and then I did it again. Now, here's what's really cool. In addition to that, you can do something like this. Now, do you see what I did there? I just walked all the way up using patterns A and B. So I'm going to call them out as I use the pattern. So it's A, B, A, B, B, A, B. And just so you can see where my fingers are fretting, A on the 2nd fret, so strings 2 and 4. By the way, the 2 and 4, those two strings 2 and 4, those are the only ones that you're actually pushing down. The rest of them are just sort of drone strings. So we've learned those two. That's A and B. Then I came up here, and now I'm straddling the 5th fret in pattern A. Then I go to the 7th fret in pattern A. Then I go to the where I'm straddling the 9th fret and the 8th fret. So the 9th fret with my middle finger, 8th fret with my pointer finger. Then we keep that same pattern, come up here so that my middle finger is on the 11th fret and my pointer finger is on the 10th fret. And then we went back to the 12th fret. So that takes you all the way up the neck. And you could keep going, by the way. I just kind of stopped there, but you could, you could keep going. So that's pattern A and pattern A again. Notice this pattern A is a full octave from where we started. So hopefully, this very impromptu video, but hopefully you can start to get some ideas for how you might be able to write your own songs, or create some interesting jams with those two chord variations using that E pattern and then that A. Well, really it's an A and a B pattern, but using those two variations, I think you can come up with some cool stuff. Hope you enjoyed that one.